Well, if you're a gun voter in Liberty, Bryan, or Chatham counties, you have a choice to make in the upcoming May 21 Republican Party primary. Incumbent State Senator Ben Watson or his challenger, Beth Majeroni. Who's going to fight for gun owners in District Number 1? Stay tuned, guys. We're breaking this race down right now. Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with Georgia Gun Owners. The May 21 primary is right around the corner, and for a lot of gun voters in Senate District Number 1, you're asking us, between incumbent State Senator Ben Watson and challenger Beth Majeroni, who's going to fight for our gun rights? We're talking about this area in southeast Georgia. It's all of Bryan County, Liberty County, and portions of Chatham County. And right now, the stakes really could not be higher. Over the last couple of years, we've had an absolute madman in the White House declaring war on gun owners. The left right here in Georgia has followed that fervor, filing wave after wave after wave of gun control bills. And the only thing standing in the gap between our gun rights being destroyed or not are the Republicans in power right now here in Atlanta. And sadly, a large number of them love to talk about the Second Amendment every 2 years at election time, but do virtually nothing to help expand it or even defend it once they're safely in office. And so for gun voters, the question is always not who says they're pro-gun, but who can we trust that will fight to defend our gun rights? In this race, again, we have a longtime incumbent versus a new challenger. We're going to begin with Beth Majeroni. Now, as a non-office holder currently, we can't give you any votes that she has cast, but we can tell you about Beth is that she has signed her Georgia Gun Owners Candidate Survey 100% pro-gun. And what that means is that Beth Majeroni has put her views on the Second Amendment in writing. You can see her survey, in fact, for yourself on our website right now at georgiagunowners.org. You see, a lot of candidates will say they're pro-gun, but very few candidates will put their views in writing on paper for gun voters to hold them accountable if they break their word. And so with Beth having done that, I can tell you that she has promised to sponsor the Second Amendment Preservation Act. We call it SAPA law for short. It's the top priority right now for Georgia gun owners, because what SAPA would do is tell Joe Biden, look, this is Georgia. We're a sovereign state. We have our own constitution. We have our own General Assembly. We pass laws for our own state, and our taxpayers fund our law enforcement to enforce those laws. So when it comes to federal laws, federal gun control in particular, or federal executive orders attacking our gun rights, SAPA law says we're not going to help you enforce them. If you want to enforce that tyranny here in Georgia, Joe, send your own manpower, because Georgia cops will enforce Georgia law only when it comes to guns and ammo. SAPA is the law right now in a growing number of red states. It's not the law here yet, but Beth Majeroni will sponsor that bill in the Georgia Senate. More than that, she's also promised to help us ban red flag gun seizures here in Georgia. You've probably heard about these by now. A red flag law allows someone to call you in saying you might be dangerous. Maybe it's an ex-spouse or who doesn't like you, right? That's why it's your ex. Maybe it's an angry coworker or an angry neighbor. Whatever the reason is, they call you in and they say you might be dangerous. And if a judge agrees, and let's be honest, they basically always agree in states that have red flags, your guns are confiscated before you've ever been charged with a crime, let alone convicted. In fact, these happen through secret court hearings that you learn about after the fact. They're terrible. They shred our due process rights and destroy the idea that we're innocent until proven guilty here in America. That's why GGO wants to ban red flag gun seizures like other states have. And Beth Majeroni, she supports that bill 100%. In fact, she'd sponsor it. She's opposed to gun registration, opposed to AR-15 bans, also opposed to these very dangerous storage laws that we're hearing more and more about here in Atlanta every session. The left and a growing number of people on the supposed right want to make it a crime for you and I to have firearms accessible in almost every situation. These so-called safe storage laws, heavy sarcasm intended, would make it a crime, for example, to have a Glock 19 next to your bedside stand. It'd be a crime to have a shotgun underneath the counter at your business. These deadly safe storage laws only benefit criminals. They only harm innocent Georgians like you and I. Thankfully, Beth is opposed to those, here in Georgia. Every question we asked her, Beth Majeroni, 100% pro-gun, a strong voice for gun owners. here in Georgia based on her survey. And that brings up Ben Watson. Now, Ben Watson, you can look at him. He's a pleasant guy. If you ever talked to Ben, if you're in the district, you've obviously probably talked to or heard from Ben Watson. He's a nice guy. The problem is not that he's not a nice guy. The problem is that we have a we have a majority in both chambers of Republicans in the House and Senate who are nice guys who won't fight. And that's the problem. Our country is on fire. The left is more fired up than ever before. We have more and more Republicans across the country who are selling out gun owners, whether it's in Congress or in state capitals across the country. And now, more than ever, we need Republicans who will fight. Republicans who will stand up and roar to defend our country, defend our state, and defend our gun rights here in Georgia. And frankly, Ben Watson has done none of those things since he was first elected in, let me double check here, 2011 in the House, 2014 in the Senate. Ask yourself this: what have you ever heard Ben Watson do to defend your gun rights for all the years he's been in the legislature here in Georgia? What has he done for you in the Senate? Besides his vote for constitutional carry in 2022, an action he had nothing to do with as far as getting the bill through committee, on the floor, ready to go. Besides that one yes vote in approximately 15 years, when have you ever heard of Ben Watson fighting for gun rights? I can tell you the answer is you haven't, because he hasn't. Right now, if you go to his website, you won't even see a mention of the Second Amendment on Ben Watson's website. I mean, every fake pro-gun rhino has a throwaway line about gun rights on their website, apparently, except for Ben Watson. Now, maybe he adds one after this video airs. I don't know. But right now, he doesn't even mention it on his website. I can tell you this, for the last couple of years, as we fight to advance the Second Amendment Preservation Act in the Senate, we had 25% of the Senate Republican caucus co-sponsor our bill, but Ben Watson didn't do it. We had a large number of co-sponsors, but Ben Watson was not on the list. That bill number was SB 67. You can look it up for yourself. Right now, Ben Watson is refusing the candidate survey from Georgia gun owners. Again, that's in keeping with who he is. He hasn't lifted a finger to fight for your gun rights. So you can add it up for yourself. He will not survey. He would not co-sponsor SEPA when 25%, give or take, of his caucus did so. He won't even mention gun rights. We are unaware of any pro-gun bill he has ever filed in his entire career here in Atlanta. And yet, he wants all of you to believe that he's a gun rights fighter. It's a joke. So right now, I'd like to tell you where Ben Watson stands on red flags. I don't know, because he won't say. These deadly storage laws, will he vote yes or no on that? I don't know, because he won't say. Will he support SEPA? Well, he sure as heck hasn't for the last 2 years. What about universal background checks, or AR-15 bans, or waiting periods, or age increases when you can buy firearms? We can't tell you how Ben Watson would vote on those, because Ben Watson will not put his views in writing. So guys, when you add it up, you have nothing but great news here with Beth Majeroni. If you see her on the campaign trail, thank her for her pro-gun survey, putting her views in writing, and for vowing to lead in the fight for gun rights here in Georgia. And if you see Ben Watson, ask him, why won't you put your views in writing with the Georgia Gun Owners Candidate Survey? Why wouldn't you co-sponsor SEPA like 25% of your caucus did? Why haven't you talked about gun rights on your website? Why haven't you sponsored pro-gun bills? Why haven't you done anything to lead in the fight for gun rights in such a pro-gun district as SD-1? Guys, ask him those questions. Make sure he does not get away. Make sure he signs that survey when you push him like that. Again, guys, be sure and share this video far and wide for every gun voter in the area. Check out more race breakdowns on our website, our YouTube channel, and our Facebook page. And to get more involved in the fight, guys, go to joingggo.com.